Former Empire actor Jussie Smollett is appealing his conviction for staging a hate crime attack in 2019, and now the men he allegedly hired to attack him are telling their story. Smollett publicly claimed that two white supremacists assaulted him near his apartment in Chicago. The former actor described it as a racist and homophobic attack, causing media-driven outrage across the country. Prosecutors accused Smollett of orchestrating the attack and then lying to police about it. Fast forward to December of 2021, and Smollett would be convicted of 5 felony counts of disorderly conduct. Last year, he was sentenced to 150 days in the county jail, but only served 6 days pending his appeal. Now, in the midst of that appellate process, brothers Bola and Ola Osundario spoke exclusively to Fox Nation about the case. And here's a snippet from that interview where they actually recreate the controversial attack.
We started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey, aren't you that Empire? Empire? It's MAGA country. Yeah. And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. I held the blow because I didn't want to hurt him, of course. So I made it look real, but I held it. Then we started tussling, moving around, and then I threw him to the ground. He wanted it to look like he fought back. That was very important for him because he said, hey, don't just beat my make it look like I'm fighting back and whatnot.
Is this the weirdest story of all time? Brian, why are they speaking out now and not when all this first happened?
I think because a bit of the circus is all done, and my other thought would be is, yes, Jussie Smollett staged this, but with the help of these two men, they are just as culpable as Jussie Smollett is. So in my mind, I'm thinking as a defense attorney, well, what's the statute of limitations in the state that they're in? It's 18 months for a misdemeanor and 3 years for most felonies. So I think they're now letting the cat out of the bag and telling all the details because the cases are behind them now. The statute of limitation is far gone, so no one's gonna be able to use this interview and say, hey, we didn't catch you for this crime or this, or you have lied to us during an investigation. Now we can move forward.
Well, Terry, tell us about their plea deal. Was it appropriate in this case, given the circumstances?
Well, Brian hit it on the head. It was not appropriate as far as I'm concerned. I get, putting them, I guess, on probation, but I do think it was a serious crime and that not just the brothers, but also Jussie Smollett should have more time. 2 years probation and a small fine for the brothers and 150 days in jail, and he only served 6. That's not enough. This was very serious. It affected the entire communities that he was talking about, the LGBTQ community, the Black community, and it makes it far more difficult when there is an actual crime of this type, a hate crime. It makes it far more difficult for those individuals to bring their claims. So I think it was selfish, it was unacceptable and inexcusable, and they should have gotten far more time than they did.
And now they're telling their side of the story. When we come back, all eyes are still on the Idaho College student murders case. Even the alleged killer, Bryan Kohberger, is paying close attention. We're sharing new observations of Kohberger's life behind bars. And welcome back, everybody. We are closely following the Idaho College student murders case, including any new developments in Bryan Kohberger's journey to trial. Now, according to new claims, Kohberger seems to be doing the very same thing from behind bars. The 28-year-old is currently being held in the Latah County Jail on murder charges connected to the stabbing deaths of the Idaho 4 in November. The site Daily Mail says that it has been contacted by current and former inmates of that facility, and these sources have revealed that Kohberger has allegedly found God and attends Mass every Sunday. The inmates also claim that Kohberger has daytime television access and frequently follows his own case on the news. In fact, one inmate labeled his behavior as bizarre, saying he, quote, watches himself all the time. Another inmate allegedly described Kohberger as expressionless and says that he rarely speaks to other inmates. And despite these claims of odd behavior, an official told the Daily Mail that Kohberger is well behaved and is also getting vegan accommodations in jail. His preliminary hearing is set for June 26. Now, Terry, Kohberger was placed in a private cell. Is that for his own protection or the protection of others?
Well, it's definitely for his own protection. He is being treated as though he is some sort of superstar. He's getting these vegan meals, he gets television, he has his own cell, and it doesn't even seem as though he is in solitary confinement, which would be a little bit different because that would mean he'd have no contact with anyone. He is having contact. They take him for walks and he gets to watch television. So I definitely think it's for his protection. And, you know, the fact that these other people are taunting him and they are talking about, you know, his crime and they calling him the B word. So I do think they're trying to protect him, but on the one hand, that protection is serving in his favor. He's a very egotistical person. He's narcissistic to a certain point. I mean, as far as what the people in jail are saying. And so it could very well be that he likes all of this attention. He likes the fact he's getting this special treatment. So, you know, it's for his protection, but I don't think it's helping the rest of the inmate population.
Well, Brian, there's one thing for a suspect to watch himself or watch what the case is going on in the news before they're captured, right? They want to see, you know, where is the police going? How do I avoid things? Is it strange for somebody who's already been arrested as a defendant, locked up in jail, to follow his case from behind bars? I mean, would you advise him to do that if he was your client? Because listen to these inmates right now.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the inmates, Jesse. It happens all the time. I mean, think about it. If one of us sees on our phone that someone tagged us on Instagram or Twitter or social media, wouldn't you pick up your phone and say, well, what are people saying about me? Take that, then consider you don't get to go to work, you don't get to go to see your friends, you don't do all this stuff. He's obsessed with himself, of course, because that's all he has. I don't think it's a good thing or a bad thing. He's in jail awaiting for his own trial, and he's following the case. Would I advise him to do this? It depends on what that person is doing with that information and who they're speaking with. Right now, we're told that Kohberger is pretty much a loner outside of jail and now inside of jail as well. If he's not sharing information with his jail mates or people around, then I'm fine with that. I actually want him to follow the case so that when he hears something in the news, if I'm his defense attorney, he then comes back to me and says, Brian, this is true, this is not true, this is where you should investigate more, this is where you should not waste your time. That actually helps me, but if he's blabbing to his jail mates, I don't want him watching anything.
All right. I mean, there's something to be said that they're even taking note and thinking it's bizarre behavior. Brian, Terry, thank you so much. Everyone out there, thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime Daily. We're going to see you next time as we discuss justice in America.